the law of this jungle is as old and as real as the sky. And the wolf that abides will prosper, but a wolf that breaks it will die. You see out here in this jungle, we run it forward and back. For the strength of the pack is the wolf, and the strength of the wolf is the pack. I used to run with the pack, nowadays I run for the pack. Represent from the front to the back, balls in my heart, my city and the map. I was in the field, you're sitting in the bench. See me in the gym, wreck till I'm bench. Sweat till I win, that's a victory stench. Yeah, we stay ready for the war, man, I settle in the score. Settle it. Right now I'm with the hype, I ain't in it for the light. I was down on the ground, now I'm up for the fight. I'm on it. Seaside at the dark, now it's into the light. Out for more, down for my team. I wake up and I'm chasing a dream. Done dirt, but my crep stay clean. Send for me, rude boy, how you mean? Look at my champ with the verses. Clean sheet in him and I'm on a verse with. Prize fighter, I'm taking the purses. Death match like your family in hearses. The law of this jungle, we run it forward and back. For the strength of the pack is the wolf, and the strength of the wolf is the pack. You see out here in this jungle, we run it forward and back. For the strength of the pack is the wolf, and the strength of the wolf is the pack.
A big game, a big day. It's the time of the year when everybody starts rolling out the cliches of must win, must not lose. Relegation 6-pointer potential. Wolves against Leeds United. Two of the most famous names in the game. Good to see that man, Diego Costa, is back amongst the squad. We will bring you the team news in just a second. If only you could have seen what was going on a moment ago, as these two clowns managed to get their microphones completely mixed up. So who knows if they're on the right microphone? We'll wait and see in the next couple of moments. It's just going to be one of those days, you feel. But there's an air, Andy Thompson, about everybody having that sense of anticipation, nervousness. How are you feeling?
Nervous as well. I'm just hoping that we can get the right result. I'm just hoping that after the Newcastle game last week, that everybody knows what we need to do. With this international break coming up, we need to get 3 points today. I know people are saying our draw will do us. It isn't. We need to get those 3 points. We've got Leeds and we've got Forest away the next two games, which are going to be massive games. I know people say 6-pointer, but it really is.
See, this is the thing, Lee Naylor. I come to you for some reason for an air of common sense, of being more level-headed, perhaps.
Common sense.
Well, I know, yeah. That's the crazy thing. I mean, you know, I look at Tomo for the full-on, in-your-face, no-nonsense punditry, and I then come to you for a little bit more balance. A lot of
He knows you well, Nels.
Well, a lot of people will probably be thinking that I'm now realising the foolishness of that. But how are you feeling about today?
Me, I'm very positive. At the end of the day, it's a must-win for me. Both teams are in a battle, whether they like it or not, and we're on our home turf. So, for me, it's about getting the W today.
There's different ways of going about it, though, isn't there? I mean, I'll tell you what, let's just take a look at the team news because it might affect how we're going to talk about this. João Gomez makes his first Wolves start. You can see him on your screen there. One of two changes. João Moutinho drops to the bench. There is a start for Pedro Neto in place of Adama Traore. And then back amongst the substitutes, Pablo Sarabia and Diego Costa, boosting the options available to Julio Lopetegui. So expecting a 4-3-3. How exactly that three in midfield shapes up, I'm told it'll be Neves being the deepest and Lamina and João Gomez as the two to try and get up and down. But that is a very combative midfield three, Tomo. Does that give any kind of inclination, an indication as to what Lopetegui thinks today might be like?
Well, I don't think it'll be fixed in stone. I think that the way that people are going to play it, I think there'll be rotation. We've seen Lamina many times fall into the back line. So I think that that's going to rotate round. Because the quality of the three of them, Gomez as well, they'll know where they need to be and at times that need to be. Have you seen Lamina drop into that back line and play from the back. We've seen Neves try and get further up the pitch. So I just think that three will rotate around. I think that they'll start to have a look about what's going on with the game, the way that Leeds are set up, more importantly as well a little bit. But it's to make sure that we get some people up with our attackers, get people in the box. We're at home today. We've got to take the game to Leeds. We've got to take the game and try and dominate a lot of the game, but also as well take our chances. And I've got a feeling that it might be Jimenez who might score today.
Oh, okay. Don't get carried away. We've got a lot to get through before we get to prediction time. Hang on.
I did give the result.
We've got about 40 minutes here to talk about before we get to predictions.
That's the end.
Steady yourself. Lee Naylor, everything about João Gomez, obviously when he first came in, burst onto the scene with that goal down at Southampton, but that's not really his game, is it? His game is getting about, breaking up play. He can pass the ball, but he's not obviously on that same level as João Moutinho at that, and he's not going to carry the ball like a Mateus Nunes. So what do you make of that selection to say, right, today's the day to give him the start?
Yeah, I mean, today's going to be one of those games where you need your ratters in midfield, and I think he's that. He's got that South American way about him where they get after the ball, they close people down, they make tackles, important tackles, and I think that's what the manager's going to look from him today. Also from Lamina, so that's what I see them pair in midfield, and I think obviously Neves they'll be switching around, but he'll have them pairs ratting around in midfield to win the ball back, because it's going to be high intensity whether we like it or not.
I'm going to mention to our producer Aaron to get our new gimmick, our new little thing that we've got ready. Just have it ready prepared, Aaron. I don't know whether we can do it actually, but we've got a plan where we can just get Tomo out of the screen if we need to here. Because look at Tomo's face, right? So everybody who listened last week will know that Tomo obviously has very strong views on officials. That's week to week. But also was quite unhappy with what happened at Newcastle last week with VAR. We can make him go, look at him, sadness for Tomo there in black and white. But I'm going to say this to you now, Tomo. Lee Naylor on Wolves Weekly doesn't think it was a straight nailed-on penalty.
He just said to me just before we went on air, so he didn't think it was. He said you would have wanted it if you were us. He said, but if it was Newcastle, he said, like, you'd be harsh done by. But again, I've had a look at it and I've seen the replay quite a bit, and he's clearly running to him. So.
Even Big Matty said. Big Matty says it wasn't.
Don't listen to Matty on that one. Goalkeepers
well, to
union.
be fair, keepers union. Yeah, what am I thinking?
Exactly. Anywhere else on the pitch, that's a foul. He said, look, and he's running. Anyway, I ain't going to get back to it now. Just hope the referee can have a decent go today. But I'll leave him alone.
It's because we're going to see the highlights from Newcastle in just a second now. So it was obviously a key part of the game. But did the way that the last 15 minutes go at St James's Park in terms of Wolves lost the point effectively that they'd hard earned, and then didn't really look like getting back into the game again. Do you think that has any influence on how they approach the first 15, 20 minutes here today? No,
I think I don't think it's, you can go off the last game going into this game. I think you just got to clear your head, and you've got like 11 players in front of you. So yeah, for me, you just got to forget about that. Obviously, they should have guarded that point better than what they did, because that would have been a massive point. But as they let it go, you just got to forget about it and move on to the next. You can't let it drag on through to the next game. Right,
we're going to hear from Julian Lopetegui a little bit later on how close the Premier League table is and on today's opponents as well. We'll hear from Dave Edwards a little bit later on and reminisce about one of his special moments in his career against today's opponents. But before we do anything else, let's take a look back at the best of last week at St James's Park. Raul Jimenez down inside the penalty area. It's a poor pass back, and Pope, heavy touch. Jimenez stole it from him. Oh, this is unbelievable. Andy Madley. He's off. He's the referee. Tony Harrington, the VAR. Trippier's free kick. Headed goalwards and headed in. Isak with the finish. Trippier's delivery again. Hides the far post, put back in and off the crossbar by Gibberish. Dan Burns' header. Down to Lens. Cutting in field and striking low, back off the post. Coutinho touching it. Neto curling it and pound away. Oh, Nick Pope, really strong hand. Neves. Neto, right inside of the penalty area. Semedo coming on the overlap, outside of the boot, cross towards the far post. Comes towards the strike by Martinho and somehow parried away by Pope. Down the line, looking for the one of Pedro Neto. Whipping his cross in. Ait Nouri might come to Hee Chan-Wang, 25 yards out. Trying to force his way through. Yeah, there's a mix-up and Hee Chan-Wang, and Wolves are level! What an introduction! Welcome back to fitness! Nouri in the position. Almiron up against Kilman. Ball goes in forward to Wheeler. Wheeler just closed down, comes through to Almiron! Oh no! Curled in! Wolves behind again. It's Miguel Almiron again. Too easy, too simple.
He's aware that 1 in 8,333 make the cut, and so he's thinking about scoring while he's lacing up. He made sure he ate good and got his 8 hours in. The gaffer told him just focus, and you'll do nothing but win. And even though the things on Snap kept on buzzing down his phone, he had a little peek, he swiped right, but he made sure he left them alone. It's no distractions, I've gotta keep that hunger and focus. Check my kickback twice, and remove that chip off my shoulders. Can't be late, I'm trying to be the first one to the ground. Headphones in, I'm vibing, bopping, listening to SR and Pounds, thinking it's nerves. But then I think, some of these man just talk enough. Take it easy, and don't go too intense on the warm-up. Man like Kai, quick firms, but you know he's gonna be marking me. I can't get caught flat-footed, and he knows just how sharp I'll be. Match scenario, 1 inch of space, and then I'm in there. Quick 1, 2, boom, first goal, that's me, get in there. But calm down, I gotta keep myself composed, and I can't get too gassed, because it wasn't the cleanest of goals. I need another. To go first team, I have to make a statement. Remember, talent can only take you so far. It's the hard work that sticks out blatant. You know Ryan's got a ping on him, so when he gets it, you're gone. If they coming short for the ball, then drop the shoulder, race on. Are you a speedy one, bro? Is the defender kinda slow? And if so, it's all about that first touch towards the goal. Because if it's dead, then you're given time to make up the ground. And if it's good, you hit the back of the net, make that beautiful sound. The gaffer's watching, he's making notes, and then you see his assistant walk up. He tells you that they're impressed, and that you've earned yourself a call up. Then he says, wait, before you even think about making the team, make sure you go home and get those dirty boots clean. Man, this is nuts, I'm shaking. Wait till I tell my mum and the bros. I'm gassed, I've been grafting for this, but still kinda mad I've been chose. Crazy, anticipation. Use all the emotions to feed desire and fuel performance. Tell your boys you're locked tough, and tomorrow's game is enormous. Match day, you're in the tunnel. Hit yourself at the back of the line. Close your eyes for a second. When you open them again, it's your time. Wolves, next gen.
Do you have what it takes? It's the strategy, the discipline, the anticipation, the defeats, the victories. The people who get it, get it. The people who don't. We are Wolves Women, and we are their official FX trading partner.
It's Matchday Live Extra here at Molineux. Mikey Burrows, Andy Thompson, Lee Naylor with you, building up to kick off against Leeds United. We are, half an hour away from it or so now. One thing we didn't touch on in the team news, the front three, Tomo. Pedro Neto getting the shout above Adama Traore today. Adama Traore has had his best performances off the bench, I think it's fair to say. Do you think that plays a part in it? We saw Neto come off the bench at Newcastle and do okay, but he hasn't scored for a while. And it's an awful lot to ask, isn't it, for him to come into this type of game?
Yeah, it is, but so look, it just shows you the faith that the manager's got in his in Neto. So look, coming on, look, apart from Bedence, so look, the other two haven't scored. Jimenez as well haven't scored. So like, it just shows you what they've got to do today. So look, the only way that you're going to get better and the way that you're playing, and I think Jimenez is definitely in that bracket, is to improve. So look, is to keep going, play regular games. Just need to be able to put that ball in the net, don't they say? Because Jimenez has done absolutely everything but score. So look, he's worked for the team. He's held the ball up. And I know people questioned his heading about going up for ball, but you can see that clearly now. He's got no fear at all when he's going up for headed balls. So look, you can just see that he's definitely playing with confidence. He just needs that ball in the net, doesn't he? So look, and again, Neto is nothing better than a fit Neto coming back from injury and just getting himself up match fit. But so like, we know Podence has got the quality. He's been frustrating at times, but he's got to show that bit more quality when he's playing. He's got to be a little bit more better with the ball up front, especially when he comes from those deep positions looking for Jimenez.
Lee Naylor, what's changed in your view with Raul Jimenez? Because I thought he did really well at Fulham, and then he obviously dropped out of the team and came on as an early sub in that Tottenham game and was unreal. I think that's the best we've seen him play probably since pre-head injury. Yeah. And he obviously nearly wins that penalty early on at Newcastle. Then obviously the game got away from him a little bit. But has something changed, do you think, in the last couple of weeks with him?
Well, yeah, I think he realises that he's got to step up to the mark. We've been struggling for quite some time now with goals, and he's on the back of being injured for quite some time, and coming into the starting 11, going out, coming in, going out. The inconsistency. You're never going to get consistent play doing that. He knows, and everyone knows who's played football, you need a run of games to get that consistency. But of late, he's been top, and his attitude's been top, and you can't fault him.
Tom, I'm just looking down at the substitutes warming up. So you got Totti, Diego Costa, Adama Traore, João Moutinho, Mateus Cunha, Nathan Collins, Pablo Sarabia, and Mateus Nunes. Has there ever actually been a better bench?
It's a decent bench.
Probably not. Probably not.
Three of those aren't going to get on today.
Yeah. Well, as you said, you're just looking at the bench there, so there's quality. You look at that at the beginning of the season, and we were saying, under 23 player, another under 23 player.
Well, do you want me to read you the bench from the opening day of the season?
Yeah, go on.
Mateo Sharkic, Jersa Mosquera, Willy Bolly, Connor Cody, Hugo Bueno, Connor Ronan, Luke Cundle, Joe Hodge, and Chem Campbell, of which Bueno and Hodge hadn't actually played first-team games at that point. Cundle had a couple under his belt. Cody and Bolly were unlikely to play, and obviously Jersa Mosquera hadn't played a Premier League minute and still hasn't. Chem Campbell was the only one who came on 5 minutes from the end. That was the opening day.
Yeah.
To that bunch down there now.
There's 100 mil down there.
I'm going to say at least.
There is.
Yeah, so look, you're just looking at it, and that's what it's all about, the quality of the squad that they've brought into. You've got a quality manager that's come in as well. That's changed since the beginning of the season. So all of a sudden, with that combination of players in there, look, I just think for the majority of the times when we watch them, we play some good stuff. We play some decent football. We just lose our concentration at times. The goal against Newcastle, when Aït-Nouri's just set off on a run going forward, where there was no need for him to. He's never going to win the ball. But Niall's just touching on there about, look how many players are in the penalty area, though, when the players score here. Yeah, so when he's at the shot, so look, everybody's in the centre of the pitch. Nobody's gone out to him. Nobody realised that he was out there wide. And we got players on there, but we didn't. Almiron Salok was able to score the goal. Good finish, but we had enough players there. So it's a bit of naivety at times, but it's just that focus. You can't switch off in this Premier League. You've got to be focused all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. We will hear from Dave Edwards very shortly indeed. But let's hear a little bit from Julian Lopetegui, because this is quite a remarkable Premier League season at the moment. You've got at least 8 teams who are still very much involved in the relegation shake-up, and Lopetegui was asked about that at his pre-match press conference.
Have you ever seen in your experience so many teams be so tight at this point of the season in terms of relegation?
I have talked about this 2 months ago or 3 months ago when I arrived here, that my point of view is going to be this. That's how it's happened. Very, very equalized. If a lot of good teams fighting for the same aim, so we have to be ready to be able to continue in this race with the best behavior, with the best mentality, and with the best way to play in all the phases of the game, in the defensive phase, offensive phase, but of course, above all, putting the focus always in our players, in our team, to be able to improve always.
More from Julian Lopetegui to come on Matchday Live Extra, but these two are not the only legends who are here at the Molineux this afternoon, one of which, Dave Edwards, I caught up with a little bit earlier on to reminisce about one of his special moments against today's opponents.
Still Van La Parra has it by the corner flag. Van La Parra pulls it back to McDonald. McDonald to deliver his cross in. Edwards header! Yeah! It's Dave Edwards! Dave Edwards has won it for Wolves! Surely, with 2 minutes to go, and Molineux is rocking again, and that could be huge. It could be massive in Wolves' chase to the playoff positions. They were 3-1 up, they threw it away, it was 3-3, and Dave Edwards from the bench could well have made himself the hero. It's Wolves 4, Leeds 3. You gotta hang on now, boys.
Tremendous ball in by Kevin McDonald, Mikey, and Dave Edwards, a superb header into the top corner. Superb finish from Dave Edwards.
So Dave, Wolves against Leeds, one of your most iconic moments in a Wolves shirt.
Yeah, what a day that was. I was on the bench that day, came on with about 20 minutes to go, we were 3-1 up, went to 3-3, so it was almost like I'd made a bit of a bad impact to the game, and then I got that moment late on with Kevin McDonald put an unbelievable cross in, and all I needed to do was get a decent contact on it, and then in front of the south bank here, flew it into the top corner, 4-3, Easter Monday. It was, yeah, one of my favourite moments in a Wolves shirt. The stadium was so loud that day. It was such a big goal in the season as well. We'd just on the outskirts of the playoffs, and that just got us into the playoffs. It was a big moment. Yeah, and then just the noise and the feeling, and those goals when you know as soon as you've headed it, it's in the goal. You know the keeper's not going to get there. It was amazing, especially in front of the south bank as well.
I was going to mention the pressure that was on that day. That time it was to try and make the playoffs. Today has a similar kind of feel for different reasons, but playing in an occasion like that where everything is on the line, it feels like, takes some doing.
It does, and this is a more difficult situation. I think when you're trying to pull yourself away from the relegation zone, I think that pressure is completely different to when you're fighting at the top of the table, and then you have to have the mindset that you're trying to be positive in your performance, where it's quite easy to go into the game thinking I don't want to make a mistake. But these Wolves players, there's so many good technical players in the team. They'll be so confident. The performances since the new manager's come in, it's worthy of being sort of a top half team. So just got to try and carry on that momentum. There will be nerves, will be edgy, I'm sure, but if they can start the intensity which they do for the big games at home, and I'm sure that'll be enough to get that first goal. If they do get the first goal, I think they're comfortable then, allowing Leeds to maybe come onto them a little bit and then press for the goal, and Wolves on the counter-attack can be devastating. So fingers crossed that's the way it goes.
Is there an element of mindset in these games? Because we've seen Wolves here beat Liverpool and beat Tottenham, but lose to Bournemouth in the last month. So you're not quite sure exactly what team is going to be out there and how they go about it.
I find it's when it's a big game, so a Liverpool game, a Spurs game, I feel like it's quite easy to get your performance there. It's in recent years, it's been when you're playing sort of the lower teams, the likes of Bournemouth, where it's a bit of a flat performance, but they really need to harness the energy of the crowd. It plays such a big part. It's very cliche saying they're the 12th man, but if you get off to a good start here, I think the fans know it's such a huge game, so they'll be ready to go with the players. And if they can tap into that early on, get the crowd with them and get some real pressure on, then it almost looks after itself. But it's important they do that early on and play attacking football, play on the front foot, everyone knows what good footballers they are, but if they can sort of really be positive in the way they approach the game, I think that will really help. And then obviously once you get this crowd really with you, it's such a fantastic place to play.
It's a big week, or big couple of days coming up for you with the testimonial. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so a week on Sunday, 26th of March at Shrewsbury Town. I've got a very special game against a Shrewsbury Town 11 versus the Wolves 11, all players I played with. It's going to be an incredible day, but it's to raise funds for two charities really close to me. I'm a trustee of the Shrewsbury Town Foundation and also the Little Rascals Foundation, which supports children with disabilities and their families, and I play a big part in founding that charity and still do lots of things now. So the money raised will be vital. We're trying to build a new sensory room, which will be really well funded if the game goes well. But from a fan's point of view, to come down, get yourself down the M54 for any Wolves fans, it'll be a great day. Some really top-class Wolves players from the past will be done it. They're all looking forward to it. They're excited. They've been on the phone all the time to make sure that they're getting their fitness up and things like that. So I'm really looking forward to it. From a fan's perspective, it'll be good fun. As I say, getting to see some of these lads again. There won't be many more opportunities, I'm sure.
Give us an idea of who's going to be lining up.
So we'll have Big Keems in goal, so Carl Ikeme, and then we've got some of the defenders: Jody Craddock, Richard Stearman, George Elokobi, Carl Emery, Dave Jones, Matt Jarvis, Chris Iwalumu. The list goes on and on. Yeah, but all sort of household names for any Wolves fans, really, especially looking back at those sort of 2008 onwards, those years where we got promoted to the Premier League. And we've got Matt Murray who's managing the team alongside Lee Naylor as well. So it's full of Wolves stars. Yeah, it'd be a great time.
So if people do want to get down, give us the details. When, where, how do they get tickets?
So it's the 26th of March. It's a 1:30 kick-off. There's no Wolves game next weekend. It'll be an international break, and it's a few hours before the England game as well. So it's good timing. You head onto any of my social medias. Wolves have put out a few things next week as well, with the links on it. But you can also turn up and pay on the day. £10 a ticket. I say every single penny that's raised will go to amazing causes as well. So if you can spare £10 and you have the time to come down next Sunday, it'd be great to see you there.
Wolverhampton is a proud and diverse city, proud of its history and proud of its people. When times are tough and life is challenging, Wolverhampton stands together. At Wolves Foundation, we are the heartbeat of the community. We support thousands of people across the city of all ages and abilities. Half of the people we work with are from areas among the most deprived 10% in the country. We encourage people to become healthier and more active. 92% of our participants have improved their mental and physical well-being. We develop lifelong learning and skills. 90% of our participants have improved their educational achievement. We work hard to build safe, strong, and active communities. 84% of our participants feel they have contributed to a safer, stronger, and more inclusive community. Football is such a powerful sport, which brings us together and drives us forward. At Wolves Foundation, we are proud of our work and proud of our impact. Creating opportunities and changing lives.
Matchday Live Extra counting down to kick off. Just over a quarter of an hour to go. Lots of you getting in touch. Howling Wolf says we shouldn't allow ourselves to be in the position where we rely on Premier League referees to make correct decisions. We need to always have a margin of 2 or 3 goals so the ref doesn't come into it. I mean, that would be lovely, wouldn't it? But I don't think we only scored more than twice in one game for an awful long time. Alex says we need a win today. Come on, you Wolves. Peter says a skillful 3 supporting the striker, but maybe a little lightweight. Mark says nice to see João Gomez get his chance. Ophelia is not feeling Daniel Pedence being in the starting 11. Says it's astonishing to her, makes me sad every time. And then Cathal says Cunha or Sarabia have to be starting. Both our big money signings on the bench isn't a good sign too. 1 point to make on that. Obviously, there's a situation, Tomo, whereby Pablo Sarabia missed the game last week. We know Matheus Cunha's had a bit of an injury, so clearly, if they were both fully fit 100%, you would imagine they'd be starting this game.
You would have thought so. So, look, Cunha's not started since that injury and got taken off. But look, the players that he's brought into the squad are quality players. But you look what's on the field. There's enough on the field. We know if Pedence is up for the game that he can cause problems. Neto, I know, is just coming back and he's getting into the swing of things. But again, quality player, and we can see the form of Jimenez. So, look, again, it's nice to have players to come on if we need them, but it's also as well about the players that are on the pitch and they're going out to perform, because they can still go out there and get us something out of this game. They've got the quality to do it.
Okay, let's hear from Julian Lopetegui talking about today's match.
Looking ahead to Leeds this weekend, I don't know if you know, but there was the exact same game on the same date last season, and Wolves lost that one 3-2. I wonder if you've seen that game, and it was quite important for Leeds in terms of staying up this season. Do you feel there's an importance on tomorrow's game as well?
I think the match has the same importance for Leeds and for us, for both, of course. Each match is going to be very important. Each match is a chance to achieve 3 points in the same way. It's difficult because all the teams are going to be ready. All teams has a big quality, has Leeds. I think that they have a very good squad, very good players, a big quality. Experimented coach in England. He has worked here. He's experienced here, worked here, and we wait for a tough match. We have to be ready, of course. Sure.
I know you've come up against Javi Gracia a few times in that league in the Copa del Rey a few years ago. What do you remember of those games and how he set his team up?
No, there are different times, different leagues, different teams, different moments.
You won both games.
It's other history, different history. It's not the same. It's no matter.
That's Julian Lopetegui talking about the game today. It's prediction time. 40 minutes after Tomo predicted that Raul Jimenez, he fancies to get a goal today. Lee Naylor's also basically told me that I'm not allowed to go for 1-0 today for some reason. I don't know why that's suddenly been added as a rule into the game. I'll take 1-0, absolutely take 1-0 today.
Everyone will take 1-0, but you're not allowed to have it today.
Okay, what are you going for today? Who's going to stand out for you, Nails?
2-0. Boom, there you go. So just so you're making it even more difficult, because I know exactly you were thinking. As soon as it says you can't have 1-0, you go, okay, I'll just have 2-0. So I'm taking that away from you as well. No, I think we're gonna win this, not comfortably, but yeah, 2-0.
Tomo.
I'm going to be confident today. Instead of my usual 2-1, I'm going to go 3-1. And as I said at the beginning of the show, Jimenez to get on the score sheet.
See, I know what you're both thinking. Everyone watching is thinking I'm just going to take 2-1 because Tomo's left it free. But do you know what?
1-0.
What? Yeah, I was just going to say 1-0. I just think at some point Wolves are going to kick into gear, right? But there is so much riding on this game that, having talked to Dave Edwards earlier about a memorable 4-3, I wouldn't put it past them to have that kind of game. We know what happened here last year with the 3-2 and the way there was plenty of goals in it. These are two teams that have got relatively decent attacks, but haven't really scored as many goals as they would like to. But they've both got equally kind of potentially porous defences, although we've been a lot stronger recently. So Why not? 4-3. Let's go for it.
Nice.
Well, isn't there? Is it Rodrigo? Is their main goal scoring or their main threat? Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So look,
He's on the bench.
He's on the bench. Yeah.
He's on the bench.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. We will see. Join us for the full live radio commentary at wolves.co.uk and available wherever you are in the world on the move via the Wolves app. We'll be there in the next couple of minutes. Fingers crossed Wolves can get the 3 points today, no matter what the score is, whether it's 1-0, and let's face it,
any win.
That'd be a good prediction. Any type of win will do. All the cliches have been out there. Hopefully it'll be comfortable and we won't be as nervy as we've been in some recent matches. We will leave you with a recent victory over Leeds here at Molineux that was more than comfortable.
It's not too far from that right corner of the box. Douglas goes for goal! Goodness me! That is sensational for Barry Douglas!
And if I could change a single thing, you know I would. But this time is the last time before I make you go for good. And you ain't got no place to stay. So baby, 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 come back home to me.
Infield to Jota. Oh, lovely turn through the legs of Vieira. Bonatini, brilliantly swept ball out to Doherty. This is a good break here from Wolves. Infield to Cavallero, lovely turn. Cavallero! Oh, that is absolutely sensational! What a goal from Wolves! Ivan Cavallero!
Strong against the winds and change my love. And if you keep saying the living ain't in your blood, well, this time is the last time before I make you go for good. And you ain't got no place to stay. So baby, 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 come back home to me tonight.
Barry Douglas, who heads the ball in field. Bonatini can try and nod this onto Jota. Jota in behind for a second. It's the penalty area. Diogo Jota. Oh! Diogo Jota restores Wolves' 2-goal advantage. Costa, the step up to strike the ball and scores. Lonigan gets the right way, but he couldn't keep it out. It's Wolves 4, Leeds 1. Wolves are cruising again.
The law of this jungle is as old and as real as the sky. And the wolf that abides will prosper, but a wolf that breaks it will die. You see, out here in this jungle, we run it forward and back. For the strength of the pack is the wolf, and the strength of the wolf is the pack. I used to run with the pack, nowadays I run for the pack. Represent from the front to the back, wolves in my heart, my city and the map. I was in the field, you're sitting on the bench. See me in the gym, wreck till I'm bench. Sweat till I win, that's a victory stench. Yeah, we stay ready for the war, man. I settle in the score. Right now I'm with the hype, I ain't in it for the light. I was down on the ground, now I'm up for the fight. Seaside at the dark, now it's into the light. Out for more, down for my team. I wake up and I'm chasing a dream. Don't dirt, but my crap stay clean. Send for me, rude boy, how you mean? Look at my count with the verses. Clean sheet in him, and I'm on a verse with. Prize fighter, I'm taking the verses. Death match in your family in hearses. The law of this jungle, we run it forward and back. For the